Hi guys, Tugur here with a new video, and this video will be about the probably biggest nerf that we have for Retribution Paladin, and that is actually the Judgments of the Pure being nerfed to no longer benefit for allies. Now you're going to say, but look, it's only a PvP talent, it's only a dispel, and I'm going to explain why it is actually very big. First and foremost, we got a blue post with Judgments cast frequency increasing in patch 10.7, Judgments of the Pure has been overperforming as a PvP talent, in a hotfix being applied this upcoming Tuesday or Wednesday if you are from EU. The talent will only apply to the Paladin and no longer have its effect applicable to allies. It is actually a massive nerf, and I'm going to explain why and how it could change the meta more or less. Player versus player, so Judgment of the Pure, PvP talent now causes judgments cast on enemy to cleanse 1 poison, disease, and magic effect they have caused on you and was allies within your aura. And this is one of the bigger nerfs, I would say, for Paladin, and you would think it's very small, but it is actually not. It's a very, very big nerf. First and foremost, whenever he does a judgment on, let's say, Elemental Shaman, and he had 3 flame shocks on 3 targets, all those flame shocks would be dispelled if the ally is, of course, in the aura effects. So if they are close, they get dispelled. Same for hunters. If they're actually trapping your healer, you would just hammer, not hammer, but judgment the hunter, and it would dispel the healer. And that's actually a very big nerf, because what is notoriously good versus paladins? Casters. What is notoriously bad since the rework? Casters. Why? Because of this talent. People wouldn't really play that talent before, because first and foremost you had like a judgment, just 1 charge, and you had then divine toll, and that's it. And often than not, it's you were too squishy. So if you are actually trying to dispel, let's say, a vampiring touch, or you're going to dispel, let's say, a dot from a warlock, for example, or flame shock with control of lava, or even now, for example, with bounce druid, you get knocked up, you probably just die because you don't have defensives. You were squishy in 10.5, but right now you are much more tanky, so it means that you can dispel more things that are actually lethal for other classes, which are not lethal for you. You have a lot of self-heals, you have a lot of ways to defend yourself, and Judgment of the Pure actually activates defenses for other people from your team, because again, if they're not dotted, they're not going to get damaged by those classes. And with this out of the way, with only dispelling themselves, it will also enable CC on the healer. And that is a win condition most of the time. If you are facing a Retribution Paladin, you're not going to kill them if he can heal himself, he can defensive himself, and the healer is not CC'd. You're going to have a longer game, or you're going to die eventually because he has too much burst and you don't have the answers for that. So that's actually a very big change. It's also a big change for DKs, for example, because again, diseases, unholy DKs, they were completely ruined because of this talent. If they did just 1 divine toll, all the diseases were gone for all characters, and that would be dramatic. But right now, it is not the case anymore. Now it is just going to dispel the effect on the Retribution Paladin. So it makes them still very tanky. They can still run that, and they will probably still run that, because all the PvP talents are quite bad. You play with the crit talent, so whenever you get stunned or CC'd, whatever, or your aura, your allies are getting CC'd, you get crit. Then you will probably still play that. You will still probably play Sank. So rogues, I'm sorry, you still are going to get ruins, but it is what it is. Retribution Paladin is just a direct counter to, or actually also a Holy Paladin, to be honest, but they are a direct counter to your dot as an assassination rogue, to your duff mark, to your potential kills with kidney shot, which is directly sanctified anyways, like sanctuaried. But at least casters, and I think that is where we are going to head, is that they're going to be very, very strong versus Retribution Paladin. I think personally, Frost Mage Destruction Warlock or even Frost Mage Demonology Warlock is going to ruin Retribution Paladin Warrior. I think that is going to be the play. I think in AWC you will see a lot more cast cleaves, and I really like that change. I just wish they could actually rework the PvP talent, because right now you're going to take it because you don't have other PvP talents. If you had better PvP talents, you would probably play something else. But I think in general, this is the good thing to nerf. I think damage-wise, they're not like as absurd as they were before. They still have a lot of damage, but I would argue that even a Retribution, like an Arms Warrior, has absurd damage. Destruction Warlock has absurd damage. BM Hunter has absurd damage. Demonology Warlock has the absurd... Everything has absurd damage. So I don't mind to have Retribution Paladin actually hitting like a truck, but at least do not dispel my whole team, my whole line of dots on everyone because you just did the judgment. Again, it's passive. It's not like an active thing. You're going to judgment anyways. And that's why I'm like, again, you're going to say, people are like sometimes mad when I'm saying that. But I think passive healing, passive defensives, passive dispels just need to go way out of the window. There's too much of that. And as a counter to that, you should maybe limit mobility, maybe nerf mobility by seconds instead of just like removing it completely, instead of having a charge that is on a, I don't know how much seconds it is for Arms Warrior, I don't even remember anymore, but you add it like 2 seconds or 3 seconds and it would be better. Or for example, for Warlocks now, unfortunately they have a PvP talent now in Temple 1 where they can reduce their TP, but I would even say TP should be on a longer CD. Portal is fine for 2-minute CD, but again you have also shorter portal if you want to play with PvP talent, although you don't have the place for that. Blink having a lower CD, everything from a longer CD, everything from mobility should be higher, but I think all passive healing, passive everything should be just converted to active abilities. So you have a CD and then you have some counterplay, but also some skill towards it, because then you choose when you're going to use it. You're not going to tell me a Retribution Paladin is actually choosing when to judgment. They're just going to judgment because they want to judgment, and by the result of that, they are going to dispel something. Now, fortunately, like I said, this is nerfed now, so it's a bit less no-brain, where finally as a hunter, you will be able to trap the healer, and they're not going to be able to respond to that because of a judgment, for example. Or you can safely fear the healer without fearing that the fear is going to be gone because of a judgment. Now they can just sanctuary, of course, but still the CD is still a bit longer than your fear, so you can still refear if you really want to. Again, you have tools to actually work and fight versus Retribution Paladin right now. I think it's a great thing that they nerfed this and nothing else. I think survivability wise, they can survive a bit, but it's because of this talent that they can actually survive casters. Now versus casters, they're going to get decimated. At least their team is going to get decimated. And again, if it dispels on themselves, it's still annoying for an affliction, it's still annoying for a shadow priest. But at least the shadow priest has other dots on other targets. Now, I still think the Paladin, like Retribution Paladin, is still S tier, probably still best melee with Arms Warrior in this current meta. Of course, Arms Warrior is like kind of the product of Retribution Paladin being that strong, because when Assassination Rogue was that strong, Arms Warrior was nowhere near that power level, for example. So because of Retribution Paladin being that strong, it counters Assassination Rogue, which automatically gets Arms Warrior towards a S tier position. Now, I still think that the meta will still be Retribution Warrior. Pretty much you can also play BM Hunter Retribution, or you can play MM Hunter Retribution. You still have some good, like Demonology Warlock Retribution is still going to be a thing, but I think now you have answers. Versus Demonology Warlock Retribution Paladin, I assume that there is not much you can counter to it except having a big melee cleave like a Turbo. I think Turbo is very good versus Demonology Warlock, for example. You can play into that. I think casters are going to be very good versus Retribution Paladin Warrior. I think there is a way where BM Hunter Retribution Paladin gets owned by RMP sometimes, but you have to go for a fake go, but it's going to be better probably in the future. But there's ways where Retribution Paladin is going to lose matchups, and it was not the case before with Judgment of the Pure. So now I think it's great. I know it's a 10 minutes video just for me explaining why it's actually big for Retribution Paladin, the nerf that is actually happening, why it's positive because they are not touching anything else. It's also like a positive for other specs like affliction, warlock, balance druids, shadow priest, all the casters that actually rely on their dodge to do damage, or at least to rely on their dodge to amplify the damage, like for example lava burst from elemental shaman. That is going to be staying, and what you're going to do probably in social fall but also in trees is going to be, look, if there is a Retribution Paladin, kind of judge if they are playing with Judgment of the Pure. If they do play it, just switch targets. We're going for the warrior at all times. To be honest, warrior is still the easier targets to kill anyways for casters, but right now it's going to be better. So 100% a great thing. It's going to be live Tuesday for NA, Wednesday for EU, and it's actually very cool. I wish it was like a hotfix for this weekend, but it is not the case. But anyways, if you like those kinds of videos, like PvP videos, guides, again, we have a lot of tier lists, a lot of gameplay videos. We're doing healer content right now too. We're doing also some good DPS content. We have BM Hunters, Enhancement Shaman, Warrior, Destrolock. We have everything here. If you like content about PvP in World of Warcraft retail, be sure to subscribe to the channel because we are making a lot of that, and hopefully you do enjoy those videos. And of course, like the video. If you do like the video, it helps me a ton with the algorithm. And yeah, I think we're going to hang up the boots, and I'm going to salute you until Tuesday, Wednesday, where Retribution Paladin will finally have some counterplay towards for you casters out there. Of course, if you're melee, it is what it is. It's going to stay like this, so you have to adapt. But anyways, thank you. Have a great day. Be sure to stay safe. We will catch each other very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.